So
Yeah.
why did you choose sci-fi and horror to write about?
Yeah, it's interesting because when I was younger, I would always write comedy, and it was actually in grade 12. One of the teachers that inspired me. He was sick of all the comedy I was writing. He wanted something different. So yeah, I ended up writing a horror story, and he was like very disturbed, and that reaction it kind of pushed me onto that path because I was like, I like this feeling too. I like making people laugh, but I like disturbing people as well.
Welcome to the Breaking the Silence podcast. I am your host, Coach Nikki Nicole. Here I believe in winning together and creating a safe, supportive space for people to share their stories and start their healing journey. My passion is to help people confront hidden battles, embrace their truths, and take steps towards a more fulfilling life. Every episode is designed to break the silence on topics that often go unspoken, leading to conversations that uplift, inspire, and transform. Join me as we break the barriers and find strength through shared experiences, one story at a time.
Hello, everyone. We are in season 6, and I'm back with another powerful episode of Breaking the Silence. I am your host, Coach Nikki Nicole, and this is the space where I shine a light on incredible people who are doing great things and making a difference in this world. Together, we will uncover untold stories, break barriers, and challenge the norms to inspire change. Every episode will explore the journeys of individuals who have found their voices, just like me, overcame adversity, and changing their lives through their passion, resilience, and purpose. From thought-provoking leaders to unsung heroes, I'll bring you the stories that need to be heard and the wisdom that can ignite transformation. So let's get ready to get inspired, to learn, and be a part of this movement as we break the silence on issues that matter the most. So, let me get to the reason why we're here today. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Mike through Miss Toy and through Sage the Goddess. Yes, and I had both of them on the platform. So he reached out to me one day. He was like, I just published a book. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. I want to be a guest. And I was like, sure. I wasn't gonna tell him no. He brought me Sage, and she's amazing too. So I couldn't tell him no. He is a sci-fi and horror author from Toronto, Canada. He recently released his debut book of short stories called Another Life. He is also, like I said, Sage the Goddess manager, and she was one of the guests in season 3. So, do you want to know more? I want to know more too about this book too. So, after his countdown, please welcome this amazing guy to the platform. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks so much for being a guest, and I'm excited about highlighting you and your book and finding out just what this book is about today. So tell everybody a little bit more about yourself, what I didn't already say about you.
Um, I mean, I'm just a writer from Canada, and I've been doing it for about 15 years now. But this year, I finally, put my book out on Amazon. So yeah,
Nice.
it's been exciting.
Nice. So how did you meet the pen and the paper originally? Did it start off as in your childhood, or is this something you just started doing? You said 50
Um,
years.
well, I would say I've kind of always had an interest in stories. Like I was reading from a very young age, and I've always been drawn to, storytelling. Just, seeing the beginning, the middle, the end, all that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, so for me, it was like, I guess it's kind of always been there, but it was really in high school that I got into it. I had some teachers that kind of pushed me on the path.
Nice. I love it. So, who were your latest inspirations besides your teachers to write this particular book, Another Life?
Um, Definitely some of the authors that I've read, like I have to say, Stephen King, Clive Barker, Philip K. Dick. He's a sci-fi writer. He did Blade Runner, Minority Report, those ones. I like him a lot too. Um, and I definitely have to give props to Sage because seeing her story, it made me want to go harder on my own and yeah, make this book happen.
Nice. So, how did you come up with the title for the book, Another Life? Everybody has a story behind the title.
Yep. Well, it's actually the title of a story in the book, and initially it was going to be the longest story in the book, so that's why I wanted it to be the title story. But yeah, I ended up like doing a lot of expansions to some of the stories, so now it's no longer the longest story, but it's still like very meaningful, and to me it kind of summarizes the whole kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice. I know for me, when I write a book, I have to be in a certain mindset, a certain mood to write. Sometimes I have to listen to music. Sometimes I can just be sitting in silence. What does your creative process look like when you sit down to write?
Um, well, it varies. So sometimes I need like absolute silence and I need to like go off alone somewhere, maybe in the backyard and yeah, just write. But yeah, sometimes I need music. I need usually stuff with a lot of instrumentation. I can't have lyrics or otherwise I focus on the lyrics.
Right.
And yeah, so I like, guitar-based music or hip hop or anything like that.
Nice. And me too. I can't have the lyrics because if like you said, you hear them lyrics, you're listening to the lyrics. You're not
Yeah,
focused on what you're actually doing. So I'm definitely gonna agree with that.
yeah.
So why did you choose sci-fi and horror to write about?
Yeah, it's interesting because when I was younger, I would always write comedy,
Mm.
and it was actually in grade 12 one of the teachers that inspired me. He was sick of all the comedy I was writing. He wanted something different, so
Mm.
yeah, I ended up writing a horror story,
Wow.
and he was like very disturbed, and that reaction it kind of pushed me onto that path because I was like I like this feeling too. I like making people laugh, but I like disturbing people as well.
Wow.
So
Now I,
yeah.
I I can't say that I'm a fan of horror, but to be honest, my
Yeah.
wife loves horror movies, so I got to start, listening, looking at a lot of horror movies. You always at the end have somebody to die. Now, in your story, don't give it all away though.
Yeah.
But do you think that that's what makes a horror book or movie good when somebody actually dies throughout the whole movie or somebody dies at the end? Does that make it the best?
Um, I would say no, not necessarily, because you can have like psychological horror. Nobody has to die, but it really messes with the character's mind, and it can make the viewer, the reader, kind of go along on that same kind of journey. So I would say it's not really necessary, but I do like to have some death in my horror. I admit.
So you gotta have the deal. But so would that compare to like Misery? Misery wasn't really horror, but she was torturing that poor man.
Yeah,
So would that be something like where nobody really has to die?
yeah,
But okay.
definitely. I would say that's more like the psychological kind of strand of horror, and I like that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, Misery was a good movie. I'm not gonna tell you no lies. I like that movie too.
Yeah,
I even like the Saw movies,
me
to
too.
make you
Me too.
think. I don't watch every single one of those Saw movies, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'm keep watching these movies, and I can't
Yeah.
wait for the next one to come out. He keeps
No, I
saying
know
it's the last one.
they're pretty messed up, but yeah, I
Yeah,
like
they
them too.
I agree. I agree. So, after reviewing your chapter titles, what was the meaning behind the chapter "The Roots Run Deep"?
Yeah, so that's the longest story in the book. It's about 40,000 words.
Mm,
So that one it's got different meanings. Um, I'm just trying to work it out how to properly explain it without spoiling stuff.
right. Don't
But
spoil it. Don't spoil it.
yeah, so it's about a character named Kel. He um, he works as like a hardware tester for a computer company, and he's testing some hardware, and then one day a flower pops up out of the motherboard in his computer, and yeah, it's insane. So he tries to investigate all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so the meaning for the title there is the root seems to be running deeper than is even possible, kind of thing, because it can't grow in a computer. But
Right.
yeah, there's other meanings as well. Like there's a big layer of friendship in the story and romance and trauma, um, yeah, family issues, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so the roots run deep in many different ways. That's really
Wow.
what it is.
I like that title. That title in itself jumps at me like, what is this about? What is this chapter about? So are you gonna like with my short story collection? I did one short story collection that leads to another one, like leaving them on like a cliffhanger. So do you plan to like do another a sequel of Another Life and keep it going, or is this just it?
So I do plan on doing another book of short stories at some point in the future. And I do actually plan on doing sequel stories to some of these ones in this book. So I don't have anything like planned concrete yet, but in the future I do intend to do that. So
Okay, okay, okay. So in your opinion, do you think that stories have power to change the world? And if you do think so, how?
yeah, I mean, I definitely do. I think if there's a story that can capture mainstream audiences, and especially if it can become a movie, a very successful movie, I think it has the power to change how people think for sure. I mean, you look at something like The Matrix.
Yeah.
We see that with online rhetoric. The red pill, blue pill stuff. We see
Hmm.
that with people thinking we're in a simulation. Um, so yeah, I mean, I definitely think it can change the world.
So, who are some of your people that you look up, author wise? Who do you look up and to and inspire? Except for like the ones you named previously, Stephen King. Like Stephen King's great. I
Yeah,
love Stephen King.
yeah,
Besides Stephen King, are there any other authors that you kind of like want to follow their footsteps?
yeah, definitely. Lee Child, he's another one that I love. He did Jack Reacher. I don't know if you've read that series, but yeah, he does those ones, and I love that character. And I do have a parody in the works of Jack Reacher. It's called Joseph Tugger.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I want to release that one in 2025. But yeah, he's one of my
Nice.
my main idols. Um, Clive Barker, definitely. He did Hellraiser, Candyman.
Oh
Those
yeah,
ones. Yeah,
Candyman.
I love his stuff too. Um, but yeah, any of these successful authors, Dean Koontz, I love him too. Anyone who's been doing it for a long time, yeah, I love that.
So, how do you find time with being Sage's manager to write as well? Because we know Sage is busy all the time too. So, how do you balance everything with managing her and writing too?
It's tough, you know. Um, so what I've been trying to do is I try to write in the mornings. Like when I get up, I'll write for a good hour or 2 hours or so, and then I'll try and do some Sage stuff, and I just try to keep everything in balance. Um, but I mean, what does help though is I'm not always doing stuff all the time for Sage. Let's say I take care of um, getting her stuff up on DistroKid or whatever. So that's done. I can do something else then.
Right,
Um,
right.
yeah. So it's a nice balance.
So, my final question for you If you could have a conversation with your future self, what would you say?
Um, well, I'd be. It sounds kind of weird, but I'd probably be congratulating myself, my future self, because I'm assuming that I'm going to be, still working on my books. Still going to be working with Sage. So I want to say congratulations because I know that I'm going to be putting in that work, and hopefully, it's gonna show. We're going to see some results. So yeah.
I know that's right. So this is the moment I like to call the 30 seconds of fame. So I'm
Okay.
going to do your countdown again.
Yep.
And don't freak out because you're going to be on the stage by yourself. This is
Okay.
your moment to shine, to let everybody know what's coming up next for you, how to follow your journey, how to purchase that amazing book. So after your countdown, the stage is yours.
Okay. Hey everyone, my name is Mike Marsbergen. I'm a science fiction, horror, and comedy writer from Canada, and I've got a new book out. Well, it's my first book. It's called Another Life and Other Mind-Bending Sci-Fi Stories. You can buy it on Amazon. You can find me on Instagram at Mike Marsbergen Author. And what do I have coming up next? I've got a comedy novel. It's a parody of Jack Reacher. It's called Blast from the Past. So that's coming out next year. And I've also got another science fiction horror novel coming out next year as well. It's called Hollow. So that's what I've got going on. Thank you, Nikki.
Nice. I love it. I love it. So you're going to have to come back. You're going to have to swing back around again so we can
Definitely.
highlight those books as well and get you some more exposure so they can buy that book. I got to grab my book. I got to put that in my cart on Amazon so I can
Thank
get
you.
but I want an autograph copy. So how do I get an
Yeah.
autograph copy?
Well, I mean, I suppose I could I could send them out to people, I guess, because I do have physical copies here that I've signed and numbered and all that good stuff.
Well, just
Um, yeah, I
tell me
mean,
your price and I want an autograph copy. Tell me your price for autograph copy and that's what I want.
I was going to do $20, same as the paperback. I would just need people to pay for the shipping. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll definitely be in touch for that because I definitely got to get my copy. I don't know when I'm gonna find time to read, but you know what? I always support my guests and buy their books, and I got stacks of books. And I'm like, I read a chapter a day, and I'm like, Jesus, I wish I could finish all of them, but I'm still reading some already. But I gotta
I
support my
love
guests.
you. Yeah.
Gotta support my guests. But thank you so much, Mike, for coming up here and supporting me. And if there's anything I can do to further assist you on my end, please let me know. And I got you. We in it to win it.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, just doing the interview that's support enough because it is really hard to get an interview as a writer. I've noticed like there's a lot of podcasts, but it's for like the big people. So
Yes.
yeah, thank
You're
you.
right. You're right. We got to help each other. That's the only way we're gonna get to the top. And I really believe that I've been saying that from day one that if we do it together, we can get there faster.
Yeah,
It's that simple.
I agree.
And thank you so much. And thank you everyone else out there for tuning into this amazing episode with Mr. Mike. I am so excited when he reached out to me and said something about an interview. I was like, yes. Why would I say no? Y'all got to make sure you go purchase this amazing book, Another Life. Like I told him, I want an autograph copy. I like to have. Very sentimental. Just excuse me. I'm just very sentimental. I like sentimental stuff. So I'm definitely going to get my copy, and hopefully I can sit down and I can read it as well, so I can give a review and let you know how it is. But that chapter roots run deep. That already took me. I was like, yes, I got to get this book. So make sure you support his journey and follow his journey. He has more books to come. And until next time, remember that your life matters, you matter, your voice matters. And whatever you're trying to do in this lifetime, you can do it. But everything starts with you. So until next time, continue to break the silence in your own lives. Later.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Incognita, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing podcast. It's Nikki Nicole's Breaking the Silence. I was honored to be a guest on this podcast, and I had such an amazing time. It felt like I was talking to a long-lost friend. She's so dope and so sweet. So please support her. Go to her channel, subscribe, check out her videos, comment, just any way that you can support her. She's providing a platform for people to share their voice, share some love and some positive information. So definitely check that out. My episode will be airing in March, so I'll be sure to keep y'all posted on that. I'll post it on my page with a link when the time comes. But in the meantime, in between time, all the time, support my girl Nikki, Breaking the Silence podcast. I love y'all. God bless.
Thanks for watching another episode of Breaking the Silence. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.